Right. Hi, everybody. My name's Julia Parsonson, and I am a psychologist and educational and developmental psychologist working here I work in Essendon, but hopefully my internet isn't too slow. So I just wanted to talk to you today about physical activity from a mindful perspective. I don't know how I can actually share my slides with you, so I'm going to have to wing it, I think, unless I get a little tip on the side of the screen about how to share my screen. But first I'll start by giving you a bit of background about myself. As I said, I'm an educational and developmental psychologist. I started out my journey as a teacher of early years education in the UK, and then around 10 years ago, trained up as a psychologist. I completed my doctorate in child psychology at the University of London. And yeah, my interests since that time have moved a little bit more to focusing on sort of a meditation mindfulness perspective of working with young children. Now, if you can bear with me, I've just had a little hint about a share screen pop. So hopefully, no, I don't think that's going to work. I can't see a share screen button. Sorry, guys. So what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to plow on and hope that you can all follow me. I've been doing the remote telehealth, we're calling it telehealth, for the last week or so, which has been a really interesting and different way of working with my families. And I want to give you a few tips that I've been giving to families generally as I've been working over the last sort of week or so. Obviously, a lot of you presumably will have children with autism. You're probably already really good at visual schedules. I know that's been mentioned a lot. So hopefully you have a routine, you have your sort of getting dressed every morning, showering or washing, doing whatever it is you need to do to keep things a little bit normal for your children. And then the other thing that I've been telling families to do is 3 things every single day. So the first thing to do is to make sure every single day you do something active to move your body. This can be anything at all. It could involve going with your family, going for a bike ride or a scoot or whatever it is. But it can also be something like building an obstacle course. I know that Kelly mentioned that first thing this morning, the idea of building an obstacle course in your lounge room, or dancing to a YouTube video, doing a yoga video, whatever it is. So that's the first one, is to do something to move your body every day. The second one, I'm trying to tell everybody to do something to use their brain every single day. I'm not talking about sitting down and doing worksheets through school. I'm talking about reading or doing a puzzle, playing a strategy game together, playing a musical instrument, whatever to keep at this time. And then finally, the third thing is to make sure that every single day you do something fun. I've talked to families who are having movie nights every night where they're making popcorn and sitting down and watching a movie together. Or families who are building rockets in their garage, or doing really fun, creative or art tasks together, anything like that. And then, so once you're doing those 3 things, using your body, using your brain, and doing something fun every single day, and that's within the structured routine that you would normally keep, the final point for all the parents out there is just to engage in a little bit of self-care. Everybody's going to need their own space. The brain, the neurotypical brain, let alone the autistic brain, tends to find change really unsettling and really challenging. And so at this point, we really need to make space, and you've got your own self-care routines going on. That includes parents as well. So I will go on to talk about mindfulness. I imagine when I say that word, every single one of you has just noticed a thought pop into your head. It might be a thought about somebody sitting in a field or on the edge of a pier or something, making an om sound, looking very peaceful. I think that the concept of Zen mindfulness is lovely, but probably not practical or realistic for most of you. So I like to think of mindfulness as just the ability to direct your attention right here, right now. So getting your brain into your body. A lot of people spend a lot of their time with their brain thinking about the future or possibly thinking about the past. And so mindfulness into the present, into your body, and that's where it ties in so well with physical activity. From a neuropsychological perspective, we have to bear in mind that our body and our brain have a really strong connection, and our body is always sending messages to our brain, and our brain is always sending messages back to our body. And listening to your body is absolutely essential. When we listen to the messages that our body sends us, we have the ability to respond to what it's saying. So when we listen to our stomach grumbling, we don't have to wait till we get hangry. We can choose to go and have a snack at that moment. So it's really, really important to listen to the messages your body's sending you. And in order to do that, you have to be aware of them. There's a little bit of research around that shows that children with autism have an increased ability to pay attention for a longer period to the body, to the messages inside their body. And part of what that means is that they miss the messages that are going on in the world around them. So when we're working with children with autism, it might be a good idea to do mindful activities and moving their body activities that allow them to direct their attention to the world around them. So what I'm going to run through now, and I wish I had my PowerPoints, but we'll see how we go, is just a few little activities that you can be doing with your children at home, keeping your children active, but also teaching them mindfulness skills that will work for them forever. So the first one is to remember that we have 5 senses. We have touch, we have taste, we have sight, we have hearing, and we have smell. And any activity at all that gets us to use those 5 senses will be helping your children with mindfulness. So go for a sound walk. Go and walk around the block and see how many different sounds you can hear. Go for a visual walk. I don't know if people saw in the newspaper the idea of the bear walks, and there are bears in all these windows. So that's something that even I've been doing recently, is looking and noticing my environment to see if I can find any of those teddy bears. So those are some ways you can be using mindfulness on your daily walks if you're taking them. Another way is games that you can play in the house. So, for example, teach children vocabulary about their body, so moving their body quickly and then moving their body slowly. A good one is thinking about spaghetti. So we've got cooked spaghetti is like this, and it's really tight, and you can press your children's arms. And then we've got, sorry, that's raw spaghetti, and this is cooked spaghetti that is nice and loose and floppy. And so teaching your children that vocabulary of tight and loose and hard and soft and fast and slow, as well as obviously hot and cold, all of that is going to be helping them to recognize their body signals and to communicate them to you. So ideas of games that involve that might include musical statues. It might include kind of making up dances. It might include obstacle courses.
Speaking now. It looks like we've lost Julia's video feed first, and then we lost her audio. We lost her video, and then we've lost her audio. It's a fantastic learning curve for all of us to sort this out. So big thank you in advance for your patience, and thank you for sticking together with us as we fumble our way through this together. I can see that there's quite a few viewers on AAA Play as well as on the DSR TV. So thank you for sticking with us. And just as I mentioned then, the platforms, a big thank you to everybody at DSR, Melanie and Aidan and Richard for always being so supportive of these live streams, as well as AAA Play, Set and Sam, who are doing all the magic behind the scenes, making sure everything's as smooth as can be for everybody. I've got a message that we've got Julia back. I have a newfound respect for newscasters when they're doing the live feeds and they're throwing to one person to the next across the country. I think a significantly newfound respect for them. So I'm going to throw back to Julia over in Melbourne.
Hi, thank you, Sean, for covering for me while I went there. This is certainly a new challenge that we're all facing, finding these new ways to do things. I was actually just about finished, and I was just going to summarize everything I've said, and it's probably not a bad moment to kind of wrap up really quickly. Basically, while we're in this this situation where none of us kind of know where we're going to be going, we're just all coping with uncertainty and new things. Basically making sure you do the 3 things. First of all, use your body every single day. I've listed a couple of fun activities that you can be doing with your children. Secondly, using your brain every single day, some kind of problem solving or game or having fun in that way. And then thirdly, making sure you do something fun every single day. All of this is about important self-care. Any activities, any physical activities that get your children to notice their internal experiences and to pay attention to them is going to be beneficial in the long term for helping them develop that emotional regulation skill and to communicate what their wants and needs are. And the final rule is just to make sure that you're having fun with it. So hopefully now I will fling seamlessly back to Sean, and we'll see how we go. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Julia. I think that was as seamless as we have been all week. So thank you for that. And I think thank you for those 3 top tips. I would say while there's a whole world of pressure on people at the moment, a lot of people have been stood down from their jobs. People are looking forward to really, average things like going on flights and going on holidays. And now we're all doing the right thing and practicing physical distancing. But with physical distancing, it doesn't mean social distancing. So as we've heard from Elle and Kelly, who are both checking in on some of their players and using apps like House Party, Zoom. Kelly's been doing some Instagram Live videos as well as Facebook Live from AAA Play. And so it is important that while we are physical distancing, we're not being fully antisocial. And of course, the irony that a lot of people think is that people with autism are not that social, which is 100% a false stereotype. People with autism are very social, and as Elle alluded to earlier, one of the challenges that people are experiencing is the lack of social time. We are going to try to